Hello ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to look at history, not like a boring lesson, but like a real story of brave people and big sacrifices. Our journey starts in 1857. It was a year of fire and blood. The British East India Company ruled India with a very strong hand. The land was ours, but we didn't have the power. People all over India were quietly angry. Farmers, kings and regular folks all felt the same way. What started it all? A greased bullet. It was an insult to both Hindu and Muslim religions. In Meerut, Indian soldiers fought back. This wasn't just a small fight. It was the first big shout for freedom. That shout went from Meerut all the way to Delhi. As India stood up and said enough, leaders came forward. Rani Lakshmi Bai, Nana Sahib, Tansya Tope, Begum Hazrat Mahal. They showed everyone how to fight back. They fought bravely for their land and their honor, for a future they might never see. Their bravery became famous, sung in old songs for many years. Even though the uprising was stopped, it wasn't a failure. It showed that the British weren't unbeatable. The revolt of 1857 planted a seed of national pride and showed that people could fight together. It taught us that if we stick together, we can even shake the biggest empire. The blood of those who died helped the tree of freedom grow. This was just the first part, the strong beginning of our long walk to freedom. The uprising showed that India's spirit could not be broken. The British king and queen took over from the company, but the dream of freedom had started to grow. The story of 1857 isn't just history, it's how India started to wake up from this fire. A country started to see itself as one. The brave acts of these heroes would inspire every step that came after what they left behind. A call for everyone to be together, to be brave, and to have hope. The uprising was the first heartbeat of a free India. The journey had begun, and so the story of India's freedom began. After 1857, the British held on even tighter, but something big had changed. The idea that India should be one country was born, growing quietly in people's minds. The fight moved from battlefields to schools, newspapers and public talks. Education, which was supposed to help the British, became a way to wake people up. Indians learned about freedom and loving their country, and a new group of people came up. Lawyers, teachers, reporters who started to question British rule, newspapers in Indian languages spread the message of being together and making things better. When people learned about India's rich past, they felt proud to be Indian. Sharing the same hard times under British money rules made people feel more connected. Farmers in Punjab and weavers in Bengal faced the same unfair ruler. Being treated unfairly with money brought people together no matter their caste or religion. The country was waking up, realizing its future was in its own hands. The ideas of being together were planted, ready to grow into a big movement. As the 1800s went on, people felt a stronger need for one big voice. Small groups formed, but India needed a national place to speak. In 1885, 72 smart people met in Bombay. This was the start of the Indian National Congress. Early leaders called moderates, Dadabhai Nauroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Surendranath Banerjee, believed in making changes slowly. They used written requests and peaceful ways, asking for fairness and for Indians to be part of the government. Their methods were slow, but they built the first steps for people to understand politics. Congress brought people from different areas and backgrounds together, building the idea of Indians being one political group. It taught a generation about modern politics and showed how the British were taking advantage of them. Politics became something for everyone, not just the rich. The Congress made the plan and the words for the fight that was coming. They did a lot. They were the builders of the first part of our national movement. The Congress became the heartbeat of India's fight for freedom. The journey toward being independent had a new leader. As the 1900s began, a new group of young people grew tired of how slow the moderates were. The extremists or strong nationalists believed freedom had to be demanded, not asked for. In 1905, Lord Curzon split Bengal to try and divide people, but it actually brought people together. In protest, the Swadeshi movement started. People said no to British goods and yes to Indian products. It was more than just about money. It was about pride and doing things for yourself. Big fires of foreign clothes, new national schools and many people joining in marked this time. The slogan Vande Mataram became the song of strong nationalism. Leaders like Lal, Bal and Pal inspired millions. Tilak's cry, "Swaraj is my birthright," showed a change from just making things better to wanting to rule themselves. The split between moderates and extremists became clear in 1907, but the spirit of Swaraj had taken hold. The goal was now complete freedom. The movement had entered a new fiery stage. The people's determination was stronger than ever. The dream of being independent was no longer far away. World War I brought hope for political rewards, but instead India got the Harsh Rolat Act. In this time of being let down, a new leader came forward, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Gandhi's weapon was satyagraha, truth and not hurting anyone. He believed in fighting unfairness with love, not hate. His first Indian campaigns in Champaran, Thera and Ahmedabad showed that not fighting back with violence could work. Gandhi connected with regular people, living simply and speaking their language. To millions, he was Mahatma, a great soul. The big change happened with the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in 1919. Hundreds of people who weren't armed were killed, which shocked the whole country. This brutal act convinced Gandhi and India that British rule was bad. The time of just asking for things was over. The time of many people taking action began. Gandhi's leadership changed the fight for freedom. The movement now belonged to everyone. Not using violence became India's most powerful weapon. The fight for freedom had a new way. After Jallianwala Bagh, Gandhi started the non-cooperation movement in 1920. The idea, stop working with British rule. Students left schools, lawyers left courts, people quit their jobs and foreign goods were not bought. Khadi became a symbol of doing things for yourself. Millions joined, farmers, workers, women, making it a real big movement. Hindu and Muslim people were united, joining with the Khilafat movement. But in 1922, violence at Chauri Chaura made Gandhi stop the movement. For him, not using violence was as important as freedom. The fight paused but the spirit stayed. In 1930, Gandhi started the civil disobedience movement with the famous Dandi March. Breaking the salt law became a symbol of fighting back. The country rose up again, united in saying no. The British were shaken by the power of peaceful protest. India's march to freedom was unstoppable. Along with Gandhi's non-violence, a stream of revolution flowed through the fight for freedom. Young revolutionaries like Bhagat Singh believed force was needed to shake the empire. Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru dreamed of a fair socialist India. Their slogan, Inquilab Jindabad, long live the revolution. Bhagat Singh's brave acts and dying at 23 inspired millions. Their sacrifice lit a fire in the youth and shook the country. While their ways were different, Gandhi and Bhagat Singh both wanted a free, fair India. What they left behind? Bravery, sacrifice and the call for complete independence. World War II began and Britain pulled India into it without asking. The Congress demanded independence. The British said no. In 1942, the Quit India movement was launched. Gandhi's call, do or die. Leaders were arrested but the people rose up in a sudden revolt. Railways, telegrams and government buildings were targeted. Other governments popped up in places like Satara and Midnapur. The British fought back with brutal force but their rule was doomed. Meanwhile, Subhash Chandra Bose led the Indian National Army abroad. Delhi Chalo, March to Delhi, became their rallying cry. The ENA, including the Rani of Jhansi regiment, fought bravely. Even though they didn't reach Delhi, their bravery inspired millions. The British realized their time in India was over. The final push for freedom had begun. World War II left Britain weak. The Quit India movement and ENA trials made it impossible for them to stay. Independence was finally close, but joy was mixed with sadness. The bad idea of dividing and ruling led to the demand for Pakistan and terrible fights between groups. Gandhiji walked through villages torn by riots, trying to heal wounds, but the problem was too big. Splitting the country was agreed upon to avoid a civil war. The price of freedom was dividing the motherland. On 15 August 1947, India became independent. Nehru spoke of our special meeting with destiny. The Indian flag was raised at the Red Fort, but splitting the country brought the biggest move of people in history, with violence and heartbreak. Families were broken apart, lives were shattered. The joy of freedom was forever stained by the pain of the split. Our story ends with the start of freedom and the sadness of dusk. It is a story of countless heroes, some known, some unknown, whose bravery and hope built our country as free people. Let us remember their struggle and work for the India they dreamed of. Jai Hind.